The Earth is constantly spinning and it's something that we usually take for granted. But what would happen if the Earth suddenly stopped spinning? In this video, I'm going to explore some of the potential consequences of a world without rotation. If the Earth stopped spinning, it would have a profound impact on all of us. The rotational force that keeps us anchored to the ground would disappear, causing everyone and everything to float off into space. The oceans would be pulled away from the continents, and with them, the atmosphere. Life as we know it would not be possible. In short, it would be pretty bad. But what exactly would happen? Let's take a closer look. 1. If the Earth stopped spinning, it would rotate around the Sun at the same speed as all of the other planets in our solar system. The idea that the Earth stopping its rotation is a rare thought, but nevertheless, it is something we should be aware of. The implications of this event would be remarkable. If the Earth stopped turning, its speed around the Sun would drastically change to sync up with that of the other planets in our solar system. This will cause serious disruption to our environment and climate patterns as we know them. Not to mention, the lack of day and night cycles due to the lack of motion would present another series of challenges to human habitation on this planet. Although it is very unlikely that such a strange phenomenon would occur, it's worth considering what may result if it did. 2. The side of the Earth that is facing the Sun would become incredibly hot, while the side facing away from the Sun would become extremely cold. Our lives as we know them would be drastically different if the Earth were to suddenly stop rotating. During the day, the side of the planet facing towards the Sun would become unbearably hot, with temperatures soaring far beyond what we are used to experiencing. In contrast, during the night the side exposed to darkness would plunge drastically, becoming significantly colder than usual. This would create a stark and unpleasant contrast between day and night that we have never had to endure before. If this were to happen, humans would need to find ways of adapting quickly in order to survive these extreme temperatures. 3. The oceans would begin to freeze over on one side of the planet and boil on the other. If the oceans were to freeze over on one side of the planet and boil on the other, it would be absolutely catastrophic. Boiling oceans could evaporate and dry out coastlines, while frozen waters could disrupt ecosystems and cause vast amounts of destruction in affected communities. Efforts must continue to preserve eco-balance due to potential devastating global consequences of climate instability. The Earth's delicate ecosystem will require responsible global cooperation in order to keep these sorts of dire situations from occurring. 4. Gravity would also be affected, and we would experience extreme tides and waves. Gravity is an important force. The Earth's gravitational pull is responsible for keeping us from floating away into the sky and holds us to the ground in a way we often take for granted. If gravity were to be impacted, then the consequences would be drastic. Everything on the planet would feel its effects, for example, extreme tides and waves due to changes in oceanic mass and atmosphere. Such changes could have major impacts on coastal areas, drastically altering landscapes and endangering any nearby human life. It is essential that we remain mindful of gravity's importance in our day-to-day lives, as it can truly make a difference between safety and danger. 5. Ultimately, if the Earth stopped spinning, it would be a disaster for all life on our planet. The Earth spinning is an integral part of life on this planet. It affects the climate, air circulation, and even influences the ocean's tides. If we were to take all of these elements away through stopping the Earth's rotation, then it would cause monumental changes in our environment. That would be incredibly destructive for all living creatures. Without wind and water movement, mass floods and deserts would form, leading to species extinction and chaotic weather patterns all over the world. These immense shifts in our climate, along with the lack of essential resources like food and clean water, would make life as we know it unsustainable and eventually lead to widespread death. Ultimately, if we completely stop the Earth from rotating, it could easily be considered a disaster for all life on our planet. Conclusion: if the Earth stopped spinning, it would be a disaster for all life on our planet. The side of the Earth that is facing the Sun would become incredibly hot, while the side facing away from the Sun would become extremely cold. The oceans would begin to freeze over on one side of the planet and boil on the other. Gravity would also be affected, and we would experience extreme tides and waves. Ultimately, if the Earth stopped spinning, it would be a disaster for all life on our planet. Stay safe!